Welcome back to another edition of Chaz Koi. Today I'm going to start, as I've finally got a day off where it's not raining, building my bog filter for my grow on. The first video actually I'm going to do, I'm going to just talk a little bit about what bog filters are, sometimes called like wetland filters or veg filters, why I want to put one on my grow on tank, and actually what benefits they're purported to bring to your pond ecosystem. And then I'm going to break down how I've designed mine, a few of the resources that I've used coming up for my design, and showing you a few of the bits and bobs I'm going to use to put it together. And then because it's going to take me a little bit of construction to build, I'll probably do maybe another video or two just putting it all together. So I hope you enjoy the video. Again, this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. So if you've used wetland bog filters or whatever in your ponds or grow-ons or whatever, then please, please leave me a comment. Let me know your experiences and kind of how you approached it. But without further ado, let's get stuck in. So here's the basic principle of I'm going to call them bog filters because it's easy and keep saying all wetlands. So bog filters. So essentially, what you end up having is a container. Container can be sort of a standalone container like I'm going to build, or it can be like a separate pond within which you are going to pump some water from your pond. So that's from the pump. Excuse my writing. Pumping water into the container. But what you actually do is you make it so that there's a false bottom to this container, so that the water flows into sort of this section at the bottom, and this bit is permeable, so that the water can flow down into the bottom of the container and then up through and out of the top. And then what you do within this space is you put rocks, media, basically things that will create a lot of surface area. Generally not things like K1 media, because obviously that can get quite blocked, but things like stones, rocks, pebbles, starting off with big ones at the bottom and gradually getting smaller and smaller until you end up with like pea gravel at the top. And the idea is, as you pump the water through, it comes into the bottom. Any solids, because this will be quite slow moving at this point, can settle right in the bottom of the filter. But then the water starts to move up through the rocks, pebbles, and any other sort of media like you might want to put in there, and then out the top, and then returns back to the pond. Now, the basic principle of these is that you get so much surface area within the filter for all the beneficial bacteria to colonise. And actually, because it's quite slow moving, and I'll come to water flows in a second, you should hopefully get a little bit more anaerobic bacteria build up that can help remove all of the nitrates and the nitrites. So the principle behind this is that you should hopefully start to get full cycling rather than just the ammonia and nitrite, I think it is. The other thing that you can do, because you've got all the pea gravel in here, is you can start to put some plants in, and obviously that just helps again break down the nitrates and the nitrites as they start to grow, and apparently as well can start to stop you getting kind of algae issues and those sorts of things because it's taking those nutrients out of the water. One of the other key things about bog filters is you need to be able to clean them. So you need to be able to get access to this bottom chamber in some way to reverse flush the filter to get all the dirty water out that might sediment. So quite a few designs that have a small inlet pipe, and then I'll have a bigger inspection pipe here, so where you can drop a sump pump in or a pond vac to kind of suction this bottom bit out. So that's the basic principles. I'll show you up on screen some various different pictures I've got of the internet of different designs, and I'll talk you through my design straight away. Yeah, so obviously you should all be quite familiar with my ground tank setup here. So what I'm going to do is, and it's why I've left this bar here actually, I'm going to build a box here about this sort of size, probably about a foot by a foot, the whole kind of depth of the tank. Put a pond liner in it, so that gives me essentially my container. I'm then going to build a false bottom out of some filter grids, and put a couple of light pipes or containers so that I can redivert some of the water from my return, so it flows into the container, up through the bottom, and then returns back into the pond. So that's the basic idea. I'm sure that the fish, although they're hiding right at the bottom there, are going to love it. One thing I've been doing actually, because I've been wondering about how many fines and solids are not filtered by my pressure filter. So I've put this is a 200 micron filter sock I've had running on here for the last couple of days, and I'll clean this out this morning, probably about 3 hours ago, and already you can see we're getting quite a lot of fines and algae building up in there. You can see that. So after about 2 days, that needs cleaning because it starts to clog and the water starts to rise up inside it. So I'm definitely going to be incorporating a filter sock, because it's not my intention to use my bog filter as a mechanical filter. I solely want it to be chemical filtration and to build up the colonies of the beneficial bacteria, and to put some plants in. So yeah, let me show you the bits and bobs I've got that then start to bring that plan to life. So here's all the various bits and bobs we've got. I'll just sit down and talk you through how I'm going to use them. Right, so what we've got is, or what I've got is, some leftover tongue and groove from when I built my shed. And I've got loads of this left, so I'm going to put that together, and that's what I'm going to use to build the sides of the tank that's going to kind of sit on top of the other tank. So that's all good. A bit of woodwork. I've bought a UK Deluxe pond liner. Now I was starting to get a little bit too in-depth researching with the old different types of pond liners, but I thought it's just a standalone tank. There's going to be nothing that's going to be complicated about it. It's looks nice and thick and durable. There's no stretch to that, so that should be fine. I don't think I need to use any silicone sealants or CT1s or anything like that, so hopefully that'll do the job. In terms of getting the water in to the tank, I bought one of these two-way splitters, so the flow will come out of the pump. I've got my resisting return, and then I've got two small ball valves on here, so I can essentially then control the flow straight back into the grow on, and how much then I want to go through into the bog filter. In terms of getting the water into the bog filter, we just grab a pipe. A plan is to run it into a sock filter first, because as I said earlier, I don't want to be using this filter. You can use bog filters if they've got proper cleaning, like chambers and stuff, as mechanicals, but that's not what I'm going for. So essentially, coming off of the Y splitter, I want to go into one of these filter socks with enough room to expand to get into the filter. Yeah, like I said earlier, this is a 200 micron one. I've ordered some 100 micron ones, but I think they might just be a little bit too fine. I don't mind there being a little bit in there, but so imagine we've got the box. In terms of the false floor, what I've bought is some of this heavy duty filter grid, which comes in exactly the width I'm going to be building my bog filter. So you can see it's nice and thick, doesn't really flex. It should take the weight of all the media inside it, and it's got these little clips on the side here and here, so you can actually clip that together. It'd be nice and strong. So I'm basically going to put all them in a long line to go in the bottom of the tank to build the false bottom. And then what I think I'm going to do is cut a hole in this, the chamber within which my water is going to flow, and I'm going to probably use this. Now this is a cereal food container, so I'm going to cut the bottom off of that, and then I think I'm going to cut a hole in there, and then zip tie that to it, so that then my filter sock somehow sit in there, and the water can then get into the underside of the bog filter. And then when I want to clean it, I can just pull that out, get my hand in there, get a siphon in there or something like that. But that's the principle I'm going with. In terms of running the water back to the pond, because of course this is going to be gravity flowing as it comes up through the bog filter, what I bought is just a normal standard household guttering attachment. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick that on the side of the bog filter, and then that will give, cut out. I can run the liner through into there, so it creates a nice seal, and then that will give me a return back to the pond. But I can experiment with that and see what I want. I didn't really want a blade, and I'm going to put a bit of downpipe on it because I didn't really want the water to cascade down. I wanted to come down and exit out into the water itself. One thing I have also been thinking about is, because there's going to be some organic material like plants and other bits and bobs in the media, I might get some detritus returned back to the pond. So I've bought some jack mat. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut some of that and put it in there. So I've just got a little bit of a barrier in case I do get some like leaves or roots or something else coming back from the bog filter, just to stop that going back in the water. We'll see when we come to put it together. Now, in terms of the media for the bog filter, I've got bags and bags in my garden. I think you can probably see just behind me down here of these pebbles. So I'm going to use that as the first layer, and as you can see, that's going to sit on top of the grid, and it obviously won't flow through, but because these pebbles are round, they're not going to lock together, so the water should still be able to easily flow up through there and won't get clogged with any muck from the pond. And like I said on my other video, you want to start going into like other types of rocks as it gets smaller, as it goes up to the top to get the surface area. Now, what I've actually thought to integrate is alpha grog. So I've got a big bag here, 15 kilos alpha grog, which is going to be my second layer. Now the reason I've done that is because I want to try and get some anaerobic bacteria to build up in the bog filter. This gives me loads of internal surface area and a massive boost of surface area. Because it's going to be the second stage, the water is going to be essentially going through the pressure filter, through a filter sock, through a settlement chamber, then through these pebbles. So by the time it gets to the alpha grog, there should be a minimum of any kind of muck going in there, so this shouldn't clog. But what I've done is I've also bought some of these sort of orange or onion sacks to put the alpha grog in, so that when the time comes for me to clean the filter, I can easily just take the bags of alpha grog out without it being all mixed in with all the other pebbles. So imagine I've got a nice layer of these pebbles on here, nice layer of bagged up alpha grog, and then on the top I'm going to buy some pea gravel, which is kind of like 1 mil type size, to go over the top, and then in that I can plant some plants. So you might have seen in my video the other day, I've got a couple of plants I bought from Icklesham Koi. I'll just hold them up there, but pickleweed and some water forget-me-nots. I'm also going to get some watercress and plant that up in there. But yeah, this is the type of gravel I'm going to be buying for the top layer, so it's really small. So yeah, I think that's everything that I've kind of been collecting for the last few weeks, waiting for a decent day of sun to start putting this together. So I just better get on with it, really. Yeah, so hopefully that all makes sense. I hope you found this video useful. It certainly helped me putting this video together, kind of get my head around exactly what I'm trying to build, what I'm trying to achieve by it, and how I'm going to go about it, making sure I had all the bits and bobs ready before I kind of started putting it together. So yeah, I hope you found this one useful. Next video is going to be me kind of building this, putting it together, getting the media in, and getting the water flow set up, and hopefully seeing some positive impact on my water parameters. So I think, yeah, what I'll also do is my next video I'll do some sort of before water tests, and then in a couple of weeks time, once the filter's kind of got up and running, we can see if it's having any difference. So yeah, thanks for watching. Like I said before, please leave me a comment if you've got any feedback on my design or learnings or thoughts from your previous own uses of kind of bog or wetland filters, and I look forward to seeing you for the big build. Take care, everyone. See you soon.